So this is what the pizza looks like with all its toppings. I put the sauce on, I put on our toppings of choice. Hello, howdy, and welcome back to another Sourdough Saturday. I'm Kathryn and I'm the Aerogarden Homesteader. Today I'm going to make pizza dough. And so I got my scale out. Everything is by weight. So I'm sorry if you can't handle the weights. I could do the best I can to give you measurements for the water and the flour, but my recipe is only in weights. So today's skill is going to be stretches and folds. It is a good skill to have. It's great for no-knead breads, whether you're using it as a yeasted bread or a sourdough bread. Okay, I need 500 grams of flour. So this is a half-cup measure. I tend to pack my cups a little bit. I don't know if you can see, I do the fill and shuffle. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't think we're going to need this full half cup. 6. Oh, maybe. Okay. Didn't quite use the full half cup. So 6. So it's 3.5 cups of flour-ish. Okay. I don't need the weights right now, but I'm going to need 1 teaspoon of yeast, and I'm going to put in a really generous teaspoon because my yeast is a little on the old side, and I don't feel like proofing it. And then I'm going to put in half a teaspoon of salt. Just going to guess. There we go. And of course I didn't prepare any water. I'm going to zero that out. Okay, I got water. Now it calls for 360 grams of water. So I don't know if you've got measuring cups with the ml markings, but it will be 360 ml of water. 2550. What's 350? Yeah, that doesn't translate very well. Anyways, you're going to need 360 grams of water, or ml of water. Let's get that in there. It's okay to go a little bit over. It's actually a little bit better to go a little over for a no knead. You kind of want it to be slightly wetter than usual. Oops. Okay, let's do 370. And that is it. That is literally all of the ingredients. Now I am using the bowl I weighed it in as my mixing bowl and my rising bowl. So we're going to just mix this up until most of the flour and water have been incorporated. It should make a really shaggy dough. But it is the stretches and folds that are going to really bring it together. I don't normally use a bowl this flimsy, but I wanted you guys to be able to see what I was doing. Okay, there we go. So, that's it. The rest of this is all going to be stretches and folds. So in 10 minutes time, I will come back and I will do the first stretch and fold. And then every 10 minutes after that I will do another one until I have done 4 sets of stretches and folds. So I will be back in about 10 minutes. And I like to keep this covered just so that it doesn't dry out. That's actually why I chose this container, because it comes with a lid. Okay, 10 minutes later, I will see you. Okay, 10 minutes have passed, and welcome to the first stretch and fold. Still looks pretty shaggy, but it will have relaxed a little after kneading. So, my extra water, I'm going to wet my hands. Probably only need to wet one hand, but I'm going to lift it up from the bottom and I'm going to stretch it, and fold it over. Stretch it, fold it over. This will help bring in some gluten development, will help tighten up the dough, and it's not kneading it for a ton of time. If it sticks to your hand quite a bit, you can just put more water on your hand. Don't put a ton of water in the bowl though, that will make your dough extra sticky. So here we go, I tried to just dab off some of the extra dough, that's it. I go around about 5 times, maybe 6 depending. I also try to clean off the side of the container at this point. It's not super important, but this stuff will start drying out, and well, this is part of your dough, so you might as well use it. There you go. So I will see you again in another 10 minutes. Okay, stretch and fold number 2. Once again, get a hand wet, not too wet. I'm going to lift it up, fold it into the center. Scoop underneath, lift it up into the center. And I'll go about 3 or 4 times, and you can feel it's starting to tighten up a little bit. That's about when I stop, is when it's starting to get tight. Then again, I will just try to clean some of this extra off the side so it can get incorporated. There you go. I will be back in another 10 minutes for the third of 4 stretch and folds. Okay, stretch and fold number 3. After this there will be one more, and then it will sit and rise for an hour. And I will bring you back for that. There we go. See how it's starting to smooth out more and hold together a bit better. There we go. Okay, I will be back in 10 minutes. Okay, and it's a little bit later than 10 minutes, but it is time for the last stretch and fold. I'm going to wet my hand, I'm going to get under there, I'm going to pull it up, fold it over. So you can see it's much more elastic at the beginning. Fold it over. There we go. Now this is the last one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this over, tuck it in on itself. Just a little bit. It's a little hard to do since it's sticky, but there we go. Roll it in on itself. And I'm going to let this rise for an hour. If you transfer it to another bowl, you can put in a little bit of oil just to prevent it from sticking too badly, but I think it'll be fine in this bowl. I've done this before, and yeah, it sticks a little bit. It's not too bad. So 1 hour or until it is doubled-ish. Some sticky stuff on my hands. Okay, and I'll bring you back at that point. And while I wait for the pizza dough to do its thing, I am going to feed my starter. So this is a new starter that I made. So it's been 1 week since I made it, but for you guys, when you see this, it'll be 2 weeks. I am getting a little bit of rise on it. I'm getting some nice bubbles. So it is starting to become more active. It's not strong yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly start backing off the amount of water that I'm putting in here. That way I can start to sweeten it up. So in here I have the 50 grams of starter, 50 grams of flour, 50 grams of water. So if I take out 100 grams, I will be left with 50 grams of starter. I'm going to actually stir it up first, make sure it's all nice and incorporated. I don't normally do this, but I want to make sure that I'm getting this really well incorporated. So once the starter becomes more mature, it's more, I feel like it's more homogeneous at that point. So I will just remove 100 grams. And I have been actually using this starter to make pancakes with. I've been enjoying this as part of my morning breakfast. I'm getting close. Okay, there we go. A little smear on the side there, but that's fine. I can wipe that off. So, I'm going to zero that out. So we're going to do 40 grams of flour and 50 grams of water. So I'm changing the amount a little bit. So we're going to do probably about 15 of this or whatever ends up coming out. Once you get a strong starter, or you run out, don't worry about it. Once it's going, at that point you're just feeding it. You're just keeping it going, helping make it stronger. I'll bring this up to 40. Okay, that should... There you go, 40. and then I will put in 50 of water. So from now on, I'm going to have to take out 90 grams to get a 50. Oh, I did that, didn't I? Okay, so we're going to 90. Oops, I dribble down the side. There we go, 90. So this will slowly start to stiffen up the sourdough. It's going to be kind of subtle because I'm only decreasing the water a little bit right now. I do want to still make it easy for the sourdough to keep growing strong. So I'll do this for a week, depending on how it's doing, but probably a week, and then at that point I might drop the water. I did that the wrong order, didn't I? It should have been 40 grams of water, 50 grams of flour. That's why it's extra. Okay, well, you know, we can fix that. We will just make it 60 grams, so I'll just bring it up to 110. No problemo. Wondering why it was kind of runny. Okay, so that would be 50, and then we'll bring it up to 110 to make it 60 grams. It's okay, just to have a little extra discard to eat tomorrow. Okay, there we go, 110. Wow, it's a good thing I caught that. But we want to make sure we're increasing it slowly while it's still young, so that we're not overwhelming anything. There we go, that's better consistency. I don't know if you can see, it's definitely a lot thicker than it was. So this will slowly thicken it up. And then the sourdough can still continue growing stronger, and it'll definitely skew the population more to those sweeter ones than the super sour ones. If you want this to be sour, then do the ratio I did at first with the 40 grams of flour and 60 grams of water, and that'll help keep it more on the sour side. This way, it will be more on the sweet side, because it's going to be a slightly stiffer sourdough starter. And there we go. So that's the update for this week. And I will get you back to the pizza dough. Okay, so this has been going for its hour. Doesn't look like it's risen much, but it has. If you are coming from the fridge, you will have to, you will have to let it warm up just a little bit. So you can leave it in the fridge, like I think I mentioned earlier, 7 to 8 hours or overnight. If you're just coming from room temperature, you can just knock it out, put it on the pan. This is a 14-incher, by the way. So this will make a thick crust pizza, but you're just going to have to kind of fight with it. You should warm it up if it's coming from the fridge, otherwise you will really fight with it. It'll be like super tight. But let it warm up a little bit, and then you won't fight with it quite so much, but you just have to kind of work it out and just get it into the spot. I try to stretch it a little extra, because then when it snaps back, it doesn't go back quite as far, and it kind of fills the pan a little bit. But there you go. So that is the shaping, and it just needs to sit and rise for about another hour, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depends on the temperature of your kitchen. You know, it's cold in the kitchen, so it might take a little longer. I will put some plastic wrap on this, and I will spray the plastic wrap with some spray oil because, you know, I don't want it to stick while it's rising. So there you go. I will be back for the next step in about an hour and a bit. Okay, so it's been about an hour and a bit, and I am going to find out how well I sprayed my saran wrap. I am going to be putting the pizza in the oven at 350 for 10 minutes. I'm going to parbake it. And then once it has baked, I'm going to take it out of the oven and put on toppings of choice. Now obviously you make your pizza your way. We're going to be those weirdos who put pineapple on our pizza, because that's what we like. So, oh, almost. There we go. So it has risen quite nicely. And like I said, I will parbake this. I will bring you back. I'll show you me dressing the pizza, but it's pretty much at this point it's just pizza. Okay, so it's par-baked. You can still see it's a little raw in the middle, but the crust is starting to dry out and cook. So I'm just going to speed through this part, but essentially I'm just dressing a pizza here. So I hope you've been enjoying this Sourdough Saturday series. So not everything will require a sourdough starter. So I really do hope you join in and make a sourdough starter and follow along with me. If you didn't catch that sourdough video, I will post that. It's the pancake one. There's a how to do the starter at the beginning and then what to do with your discard. So I'm just putting on some sauce, putting on some Canadian bacon, put on some pineapple. This is home canned pineapple. So if you want to see how that comes together, I will show you the next time we get pineapple. We buy our pineapple on sale. Sometimes it goes on sale in the fall, but that didn't happen this year, so I guess we'll see. And I will make sure to put up a picture or something at the end so you can see how the inside of the crust looks. Home canned pineapple in pineapple juice. To open these, you can either use like one of these church keys. You can use a pry lid if you can find them. They're kind of hard to find. Or sometimes what I'll do is if you feel around, sometimes there's an edge where it sticks up a little bit more. I'll just grab it with my fingers and just pop it off. So, kind of depends if you have fingernails or not. Try to not put too much juice on because it will make the center of the crust or the center of the pizza really soggy. Nobody likes a soggy pizza. Hey, let me know below if you're team pineapple or what your favorite topping is. We like to also do a barbecue chicken. I used to love getting a Mexican pizza. I'll have to try making one of those. Oops. That was 8 ounces of cheese, in case you're wondering how much cheese a 14-inch pizza takes. Just going to spread that out a little, make sure it gets everywhere. It doesn't need to be super thick, but it's nice to have good coverage. Okay, and then it'll go back in the oven for probably 15 minutes-ish, or until the cheese is nice and golden and the crust is golden, and it's all done. If you found this video useful, it would be really nice if you'd like and share so other people can also find this video. And I hope to see you next time on the Aerogarden Homestead.